Today
on AFR Talk.
AFR Talk.
All right, Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. Thank you for being here on AFA Today on AFR Talk, and make sure you stick around for Brian Fisher because, as he just said, lots of election coverage. Big races in effect for today. The primary extension in the Mississippi race, and then the actual primary race in New York, where you've got Charlie Rangel maybe being displaced today, which will be interesting. We won't know until at least 6 o'clock Eastern tonight, but it would be interesting if he got knocked out. I've actually known several of the candidates that have gone against him. I've talked with Congressman Rangel before, but I've known several of the candidates that have gone against him multiple times. He's a very curmudgeon-y guy to try to get out of office. It's just almost impossible. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's Election Day here on AFA Today, AFR Talk, and, of course, that coverage continuing with Brian Fisher in the next hour. Kevin McCullough is my name, 888-589-8840. The stuff of the world is still going on. Still haven't gotten any answers about the IRS emails. It's interesting because the news agencies are now starting to report, though, that they firmly believe that that Republicans firmly believe that the emails have been in a criminal way tampered with. And the news reports are reporting this as though it sounds a little incredulous to them that the Republicans would believe such a harsh analysis of the situation. And I'm going, anybody with a brain thinks that. There was one congressman, I forget his name last night. He was talking during the time, but he was actually going back and forth with Mr. Koskinen, and he was saying, what's the probability of hard drives failing? And it's something like, I don't know, 1 out of every 30 may at some time fail in their life or something like that. And then, so you already had, Lois Lerner's hard drive supposedly fail. And then within just a few days, you had one of her associates' drive fail. And then there was 5 others. But the congressman was actually quizzing the IRS commissioner about this, saying, do you know what the odds are of that? 1 in 1,000. That's for the second drive to fail. And then it's like, 1 in 10,000 or something. But every time that another one failed, it's like the most impossible of impossible odds. And it just so happens to be the 6 or 7 people that, she had these sensitive conversations with about what the purpose of this whole strategizing against Tea Parties, Christians, conservatives was all going. It just happened to be the people in those conversations that just happened to have their hard drives get damaged. They just happened to have them even lost so that they couldn't rebuild the drive, go in there and find the data that's on the drive, even though the drive is damaged. Just happened to be all of those people. Just happened. So he was saying basically, look, I don't believe you. And the commissioner says to him, sir, that's not the way the law of probability works. And he said, well, Mr. Koskinen, I appreciate your concern for that, but I'm perfectly well familiar with how the law of probability works when I studied it at MIT. Probably the greatest engineering school in the world. So, yeah, the law of probability. So, anyway, 888-589-8840. What we've talked about today are the lost emails. We've also talked about Hillary. Alan Combs telling me last week he does not believe that Hillary's going to run. And if she doesn't, I actually wonder if that doesn't help the Democrats' chances because she's such a damaged candidate. I mean, it's going to be so easy to play that soundbite. What difference, Senator, does it make? 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Peggy in Arkansas. Hi, Peggy. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for your program. It really helps keep me informed.
Thank you.
What I don't understand, besides all that you just said about the lost emails, is every large agency I've ever worked for has a redundant backup system. So if one backup fails on the server, you have another backup somewhere else. What does that do to the probabilities?
Oh yeah, and the fact that the backup was not retrievable or workable or something else. And then the cloud system that's supposed to back up the backup of the original, and then the cloud that backs up the cloud that's then backing up the backup of the you get my drift.
Thank you, Kevin. That's what I wanted other people to think about, excuse me, and to realize. So I'll let you talk. Thanks a lot.
So do you believe, Peggy, do you just believe this is blatant criminal activity on the administration's part?
Like an earlier person you had on the air, I don't know the law about it, so I couldn't address it. But not knowing the laws, is not does not make you innocent.
Well, that's true, and I don't think ignorance has ever been accepted as an acceptable plea bargain in the courtroom. Maybe it has. I don't know. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Larry in Indiana. Hi, Larry. You're on with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Hi, Kevin. Yes, I heard you say a little bit ago maybe it's time for an older president. And I
You're disappearing into robot land, Larry. What did you say?
I say you said that maybe it was time for an older president.
Yes.
And listen, I was a little boy when my dad went off to war to fight the Germans, and we had a pride in this country that
Larry, honest to goodness, brother, I love you to death. You have the worst phone connection I've ever heard. Please call back because I want to hear what you have to say. Let's go to Johnny in Virginia. Hi, Johnny. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hi. Good afternoon. I just wanted to say that, you talked about evil earlier, and I guess the definition of that, and it's what we're doing is what they're doing in Washington is evil and such. And I heard a very good definition.
Well, Johnny, hold on a second. First of all, I didn't say I reserve the word evil for fairly fairly bad things. So I think like what Al Qaeda is doing in Iraq right now, I think that's demonically evil. The president releasing 5 terrorists back to the front line so that they can come after us again. That's evil, but not quite as evil as Al Qaeda almost. But I think most of Washington is just incompetent and stupid. I don't think that they are necessarily trying to destroy us all the time. I do think the president has taken some actions along those lines, but I just want to be careful how, because you're not being very precise in what I said it was related to, and I wanted to just clarify. So go right ahead.
I don't mean to put any words into your mouth or anything. I actually agree with everything that you say on this show, and I just wanted to share. I heard a minister once share a definition of evil, saying it's the purest form of evil is going against purpose. And so I kind of feel that the purpose that some of these folks in the IRS or Washington that they were supposed to be doing, that they're going against the purpose, what they're supposed to be doing. I almost think they're actually introducing some anarchy, because that's why they can sit there and doing these trials and interrogations with mugs on their faces, knowing that, well, what are you going to do about it? But I'm also reminded of a wonderful, our good friend David Barton, where he said when Benjamin Franklin was asked what type of government did you set up by just a citizen, he said a republic if you can keep it, seeing it back on us. And so I think we, the people, have lost sight of that it was always potentially on us to hold these people accountable to do their job and to do it well. And if they're not and they're going against it, then we need to get them out. And so that's my comment.
That is so well said, Johnny. And for that, I give you the title, and it's not honorary; it's legitimate. You now have a new degree to put at the end of your name: binge thinker. Thank you for doing that. I award those very selectively. I don't give them to everybody. Brent's been asking me for one for weeks. I haven't given it to him yet. Am I telling the truth, Brent? I haven't bestowed that upon you just yet. No, now I've poured acid in the wound. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, but that's exactly right. What he said is exactly true. And a republic, if we can keep it, it's always been we the people. We the people have always been what success going forward as a nation is going to be tied to. The problem is we have created massive numbers of people that don't embrace typical American values. For instance, the right to actually live, the right to life. We have a whole subsection of people that don't embrace that. We have a whole subsection of people in the country that do not believe in personal responsibility. They believe in collective responsibility. They believe in the responsibility of you to take care of me, but when it comes to me taking care of me, that's not as important. See, that's a core value of a true American, to say when I get up in the morning, I put my feet on the floor, I have the opportunity to go out and provide for my family and to make something of this life. It is thoroughly anti-American to sit on the side of your bed and say, oh, this culture's dragged me down. Oh, I have a bad attitude about what's going on in the world. Oh, they should be bringing me money instead of me going out having to work for it. That's all thoroughly un-American. And I'm not talking about people that are disabled. I don't because to be candid with you, I know far more people that are disabled that are making the most of their abilities in the job marketplace than a lot of people that are on the EBT and social welfare programs that just say, oh, I just can't find, I can't find the perfect job, which is 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Larry in Indiana. Hi, Larry. Welcome.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for the work that you do every day.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to talk about was this thing of who is evil, and I've got to take a little bit of issue. There are people in our government who are not putting bullets in the back of anybody's head, but who are through omission or commission, are doing actions that are totally destructive to our way of life and to, I think, anything good in the world in general. So I just wanted to make that distinction that it doesn't require an action such as killing somebody physically to be evil. So that's one thing. The other point I wanted to make is that I believe that every day that you and anybody else that has a platform who can speak to the American people that they're able to speak to, that they call out the mainstream media every day and talk about the fact that they are, again, by omission or commission, distorting the reality and the truth of what is going on in our government and in our country today. And that until that actually happens, I don't know how effective it is for you and the people that share a similar platform are speaking the truth, because you're speaking it to the same few people every day. And until there's a broader audience throughout America to begin with, I don't think a whole lot's going to change.
All right, Larry, I appreciate all of your observations about that. Thanks. We'll take it under advisement. Let's talk to Nancy, who's, I don't know where she's called from, but Nancy, you're on with Kevin McCullough. Hi.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call. First, I just want to say that I love all you guys on AFR, and I pray for your safety.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, secondly, regarding the 2016 election, I know this will sound like a conspiracy theory, but I can't help myself. After Obama was elected in 2008 and onward, I have just become very untrustworthy. So I'm developing more theories in my head as we go along. But what I think is that I know that you've probably heard this before, but I really do not think that Obama will leave office. And my reasoning is I can't imagine all the work, the intensity of one thing after another where we're just over our head. He and the people who are behind all of this are just working so hard, and I can't imagine that they're going to give it up in 2016.
Nancy, I will guarantee you, and I hope this brings some degree of relief for you, I will guarantee you President Obama will leave at the end of his second term. he has, by every measure that even MSNBC can measure, and MSNBC is anything but a friend to, the audience of this broadcast. Mm-hmm. Even their White House correspondent has said he's already phoning it in. He's got 2 more years to go, and he's already phoning it in. He has not enjoyed being president of the United States. And admittedly, he's had some tough stuff to oversee, but it has not been something that he has taken to. And there is no way. I mean, besides the fact that it's just illegal, and that's not gonna change between now and then. There's no way that he personally has any interest in being president any longer than what this current term requires, because he's already like, ugh. He's just in hanging on mode at this point. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If we can keep the expansive abuse of power in check, then that's not a bad position to be in. But I would rather impeach him and get him out altogether. Yeah, we do deal with Biden then for the last 2 years, but again, no one's going to vote for him for president actually anyway. So I still think we don't come out any worse in 2 years. If you would like to get impeachment proceedings started, by the way, John Boehner is the person you should direct that phone call to at 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. If you want to see why I say you should be impeached, go to my website, thebingethinker.com, thebingethinker.com, and read my most recent piece for yourself. Kevin McCullough saying thanks for being here. Brian Fisher, Election Day Special Edition coming up next here on AFA Today on AFR Talk. Focal Point on the way.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.